So inshallah with that, let's move on with our tafsir today inshallah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي نستغفر الله ربنا من كل ذنب ونتوب اليك ربنا زدنا علما اللهم يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير يا فتاح يا فتاح يا فتاح امين يا رب العالمين. So inshallah today we're going to cover the fourth and the final story in Surah Al-Kahf, and that is the story of Dhul Qarnayn. So let's recite inshallah one or two ayats from this story first. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ويسألونك عن ذي القرنين قل سأتلو عليكم منه ذكرا إنا مكنا له في الأرض وآتيناه من كل شيء سببا فأتبع سببا. Sadaqallahu al-Azim. So the fourth story of Dhul Qarnayn, is a story that is addressing the trial of power. When Allah gives you power, how is that going to be a test, and how do you pass that test? Again, all these trials, there are four trials we talked about. The trial of Iman, the trial of wealth, the trial of knowledge was Musa and Khidr, and this is a trial of power. When Allah gives you power, you can use that power to get to Jannah, or you can misuse that power and earn Jahannam. Right? And we have examples of both. We have examples of great rulers. An example would be of Sulaiman alayhi salam, who was a great ruler, who earned Jannah. He was a prophet of Allah. He was given the kingdom. And we have another example in this story here of Dhul Qarnayn, who also earned his Jannah by using his power in the right way. And we have the examples of people who use the power in the wrong way, like Fir'aun, like Namruds, right? King Namruds, many others. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here, He says, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ, He begins, ayah number 83. Perfect. And they ask you, Ya Rasulullah, about Dhul Qarnayn. Why does this dua or the story begin with they ask you? Because this was a question posed by the Quraysh. If you remember in the beginning of the surah I mentioned, they asked 3 questions and the Jews told them to ask them. In fact, they asked the Jews to give them some questions and then they asked the Prophet ﷺ. The 3 questions were, tell us about the people of the cave. If you have not written that down in the beginning, this is just a review. They asked, the first question they asked Prophet ﷺ was, tell us about the people of the cave. Who are those people? Right. The second question was, tell us about Dhul Qarnayn. What is the story of Dhul Qarnayn? Tell us about him. And the third one was, tell us about Ruh. Very nice. You guys are paying attention. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here says, they ask you, Ya Rasulullah, meaning as a response to the question they asked, about Dhul Qarnayn. Qul, tell them, Ya Rasulullah, sa'atlu alaykum minhu dhikra. Tell them that I'm going to inform you about some things about him. Not everything. Not everything, but some parts of him. So the Quran is not a history book. Quran is not giving you facts of the past. Quran is not a history book. Quran is a book of guidance. It is only give you those parts that will help you in getting closer to Allah, in getting guidance. Understand? So Allah says, I'm going to give you some parts of it. I'm not going to give you detailed account because that is not important for guidance. Now, who is Dhul Qarnayn? Why is he called a man with 2 horns? Qarn means 2 horns. Why is he called a man with 2 horns? Because the first is, they said that he had a crown on top of him, and that crown had actually 2 horns on top of it. That's what's called Dhul Qarnayn, the man with the 2 horns. Okay? The other reason why it's called Dhul Qarnayn, Qarn also means generation. Nations, it's called Qarn, right? The Arabic students know this. So he is somebody who ruled the east and the west, the 2 nations, the 2 powers on the east and the west. He ruled both sides, so he's called a man with 2 generations or 2 horns. Okay, he's also said to unite 2 people. There were 2 people, east and the west. They were divided. Like today we have, eastern world, western world kind of divided. Even today, he was somebody who he united. He united both the nations together. So he was called that name, Dhul Qarnayn. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about him. Inna makkanna lahu fil ard. Dhul Qarnayn, we gave him a lot of power. We settled him in the land. We established him in the land. Same word was used for Yusuf alayhi salam. Inna makkanna lahu fil ard. So Allah gave him stability, power. Right? وَآتِينَا مِن كُلِّ شَيْءٍ سَبَبًا. We gave him all sabab. What does sabab mean? Everything harnessed to achieve an objective. Meaning, He was given material power, material structures. He had the military power. He had knowledge. He had wisdom. He had the insight. He had everything needed to bring justice in the land. What was his role? He was given power and he followed that power. Allah says in ayah number 85, فَأَتْبَعَ سَبَبًا. He used the sabab we gave him, followed it, pursued it, and used it to the good things. So for example, you may have some sabab Allah has given you. For example, wealth. Allah may have given you wealth. How do you use that wealth in the way of Allah? That's following it, using that wealth to please Allah. If Allah gave you a lot of followers, how do you use that following to bring people to Islam? Right? If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you a beautiful mind, engineering mind, that you can design things, how do you use to build beautiful cities and help people in that? So, Atina min kulli shayin sababa, we gave Dhul-Qarnayn all means to achieve the objective. Okay, فَأَتْبَعَ سَبَبًا. He pursued the way. حَتَّى إِذَا بَلَغَ مَغْرِبَ الشَّمْسِ. So he continued to travel to the western side. Maghrib al-Shams, Maghrib is the setting of the sun. So he traveled all the way to the westernmost part, as far as he can get to at that time where people existed. He went there, وَجَدَهَا تَغْرُبُ فِي عَيْنٍ حَمِئًا. He found the sun setting into the murky water. So he saw the sun. It's like how in literature you're describing what you see. It's not scientifically explaining, but rather it's showing how the sun is setting in the sea means the farthest point he could get to. After that there is no land. All you could see is water. So he reached all the way to the edge of it and he saw the sun setting in water which had soil, which was dark. We could see the soil as it was not pure clear water. It's murky water. So he says he reached all the way to the western part. وَوَجَدَ عِنْدَهَا قَوْمًا. And he found some people near it. He found some people near it. قُلْنَا يَا ذَا الْقَرْنَيْنِ. We said, O Dhul Qarnayn, إِمَّا أَن تُعَذِّبَ وَإِمَّا أَن تَتَّخِذَ فِيهِمْ حُسْنًا. O Dhul Qarnayn, you may either punish them or you may adopt a good behavior, a good treatment towards them. So the scholars say that these people were disbelievers. They did not believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you have the power, when Allah has given you tawheed, number one, Allah has given you the oneness of Allah, the iman in your heart, and you have the power, it is your job to bring people to Islam, to call people to Islam. Use that power to bring people to Islam. So when he went there, he saw people who did not believe in Allah, who did not accept the authority of Allah, the sovereignty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what does he say? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals to Dhul-Qarnayn, you have two options. Either you can punish them for their disbelief, or you can counsel them, give them good advice, and bring them to Islam. Before we continue further, we need to understand that Allah is speaking to Dhul-Qarnayn. Ya Dhul-Qarnayn, O Dhul-Qarnayn. So the question comes, is Dhul-Qarnayn a prophet? Because Allah only speaks to the prophets. So is Dhul-Qarnayn a prophet or not? So there's difference of opinions among the scholars, and some say yes, he was a prophet. And others say he existed at a time where there was a prophet. So Allah was revealing to the prophet and the prophet was communicating to Dhul-Qarnayn. And Allah was communicating to the prophet and the prophet was communicating to Dhul-Qarnayn. So these are the two opinions on as to who Dhul-Qarnayn was. Regardless, let's move on. قَالَ أَمَّا مِنْ ظَلَمٍ. So what was the policy of Dhul-Qarnayn? His policy was, anybody who wrongs, who transgresses, who disbelieves in Allah, فَسَوْفَ نُعَذِّبُهُ, we are going to punish him. Okay, if there are certain laws that are set, and if he transgresses those laws, is he forcing them to become Muslim? No. He's telling them, you could be disbelievers, no problem, but you have to pay taxes. You have to follow certain boundaries, certain laws that are set by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're free to follow whatever faith you want, but it needs to be within the boundaries set by Allah. If anybody crosses that limit, he's going to be punished. ثُمَّ يُرَدُّ إِلَى رَبِّهِ فَيُعَذِّبُهُ عَذَابًا نُكْرًا. Then he's going to be returned to his Rabb in the hereafter, and he's going to be punished an unprecedented punishment. Okay, so this is a policy that Dhul-Qarnayn is making here. وَأَمَّا مَنْ آمَنَ. As for the one who believes in Allah, وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا, and he does righteous deeds, فَلَهُ جَزَاءً الْحُسْنَى, he's going to have a beautiful reward. وَسَنَقُولُ لَهُ مِنْ أَمْرِنَا يُسْرًا, and we shall give him a easy command. We will treat him with sympathy and empathy. Okay, so this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling you, when you have power in the land, what should you do? You should use that power to bring people to Islam and establish the justice of Allah, establish the Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. right? Allah says, alcohol is not allowed. How dare can you have beer stores everywhere? Allah is saying this is haram. If you have power, if Allah has given you the power, if you have authority, you become the government, whatnot, then you are going to abolish those things. You're going to destroy all LCBOs that you see. Beer stores have to be gone. This is something Allah doesn't allow this, right? You cannot allow for same-sex marriages. Astaghfirullah, Allah has made it haram. In your policies, you're going to update all the policies based on what Allah has said. You see, the Quran is Allah. Quran is Allah. Quran already told us what is allowed, what is not allowed. Our job is to just implement this law. That's it. Our job is to just implement on this law. Understand? So, Dhul Qarnayn, Allah gave him power, everything, and he's using that to bring justice. He's not doing things to please people. Oh, you guys want to do the haram thing? No problem, I'll let you do it. But he will support me, right? He'll give me money, right? No. He doesn't care about the people. He only cares about what Allah will think about him. Okay, this is a test of power. If you become the leader of a class, if you become the leader anywhere, you have to bring justice. You have to follow the law of Allah. Don't please people. Don't follow what the people want to do. So he's saying clearly, look, if you believe in Allah and do righteous deeds, you will have a good things from me. But if you don't, then get ready for punishment. ثُمَّ أَتْبَعَ سَبَبًا. Then he pursued a way. He continued doing tabligh. He continued establishing the law of Allah in every part of the land. And he went all the way to the eastern land now. حَتَّى إِذَا بَلَغَ مَطْلِعَ الشَّمْسِ. Until he went to the place where the sun was rising from. So western land, now eastern land. وَوَجَدَهَا تَطْلُعُ عَلَى قَوْمٍ لَمْ نَجْعَلْ لَهُم مِّن دُونِهَا سِتْرًا. And he found people, over them the sun was rising, and they did not have any veil against it. What that means is, these were people who were not, they didn't even have a shelter over them. They were very poor people. The sun was rising over them means they were poor people. Right? Barely any roof on top of them. So he went and he also told them, establish the same law. Okay, if you do good, follow the right thing, you will have a good treatment from me. If you transgress, then there's going to be punishment. كَذَلِكَ وَقَدْ أَحَطْنَا بِمَا لَدَيْهِ خُبْرًا. And that was so, and we encompassed what he had with him in knowledge. Meaning Allah knew all that Dhul Qarnayn had with him in terms of his means and intention. Allah knew exactly what was the intention of Dhul Qarnayn and what he was doing. ثُمَّ أَتْبَعَ سَبَبًا. And he continued to follow the path. So what is his job when he has power? He's going to different lands, establishing the law of Allah. حَتَّى إِذَا بَلَغَ بَيْنَ السَّدَّيْنِ. Now we get to the most interesting part that a lot of people are looking forward to in today's lecture, and that is the topic of Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Right? So حَتَّى إِذَا بَلَغَ بَيْنَ السَّدَّيْنِ. Till when he reached between the two barriers. So now he reached a point, Allah is highlighting, there were two mountains, huge mountains. Okay, it is said that this is near the Caspian Sea and the Black Sea, right? Somewhere northern area of Turkey. Okay, this area. So he came across that area where there are two mountains, two barriers. بين السدين وجد من دونهما قوما لا يكادون يفقهون قولا. And he found there people who could not understand a word that he was saying. So these were like the villagers. These were like people who did not speak his language. Okay, kind of like isolated, indigenous, perhaps you can say. قالوا يا ذا القرنين. And so they said, "Oh Dhul Qarnayn." Now these people are asking help from Dhul Qarnayn. إِنَّ يَأْجُوجَ وَمَأْجُوجَ مُفْسِدُونَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. Indeed, Gog and Magog, Ya'juj and Ma'juj, are causing havoc, mischief makers in the land. فَهَلْ نَجْعَلُ لَكَ خَرْجًا. Could you please set for us a payment? A condition? Could you put up a condition for us? عَلَىٰ أَن تَجْعَلَ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَهُمْ سَدًّا. And could you please make for us a barrier between us and them? Could you stop them? These people, they come from the northern side and they come and they rob our lands. They steal our money. They are mufsiduna fil ard. They cause corruption in the land. So Ya'juj and Ma'juj already exist. They're already there. And they used to cause corruption. And could you please build a saddan for us, a barrier for us. The key word is saddan. They say, build a barrier, a dam for us that will prevent them from coming down. قَالَ مَا مَكَّنِّي فِيهِ رَبِّي خَيْرٌ. Dhul Qarnayn says, what my Lord has placed me in is better. Right? Look at this. When somebody asks you for help, you will say what? Yeah, that's me. That's right. Yeah. You will boast about yourself. I am the powerful. Bow down to me. Do this to me. Then I'll do this to you. No. He was a person who believed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, what my Rabb has given me is better. I don't need you to praise me or tell me anything. My Rabb has given me enough. I have enough power within my hands to help you. But I don't have that power myself. Allah gave me that power. Okay, very similar to the man who was with the man with the two gardens. Remember the story of the man with the two gardens? His companion who was saying, are you just believing in Allah? Allah created me. Allah took care of me. He is saying the same thing about, and this person, Zulqarnain, he's also saying, it's not from me. Musa alayhi salam says, I don't have any knowledge. Khidr says, I don't have any knowledge. Allah taught me knowledge. Musa says, Allah taught me knowledge. Zulqarnain says, Allah gave me power. I don't have. Nothing that I have is from me, is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only. فَعِينُونِي. Now he says, so you all assist me with your manpower. اجعل بينكم وبينهم سدا. I am going to make between you and them radman. Sorry, not saddan, radman. So the two things here. One is, they asked for saddan, build a dam for us. He says, no, we're not going to build a dam. We are going to build a radman, which is much stronger wall. It is much stronger than a wall. A dam is going to deteriorate over time, but I'm going to build something that's going to last longer. Not the primitive saddan, but the sophisticated radman. Okay, because I have the technology, I have the power, I'm going to do something that you have never seen. But I want you to help me in that. I want you to bring your manpower and help me in that. Zulqarnain says, I have enough power to do it myself, but I want you to do it. Why? Because this is a the big lessons we learn with regards to leadership is that you need to train your mentors, train your students to become mentors and teachers of the future. Okay, you cannot just tell them everything. You have to tell them, you know what, I'm going to give you this hint, now you go do it yourself. Teach them how to do it so they can do it after. So and it doesn't matter who you're training, who is under you, you don't just give them something, but you let them think through things. Okay, ponder over. That's why your teachers, there's one of the philosophy here, that we don't just give you answers. Your teacher will say, okay, I'm going to give you this hint, now pursue this and think through it and come up with your own ideas, come up with your own answer. So that's something he's saying, help me and build so that if anything happens, you should be able to build it yourself later on. Okay, Aduni Zubar al-Hadid. So he tells them, so you all bring me blocks of iron. Okay, sheets of iron, huge pieces of iron. Okay, so they bring 2 pieces of iron. Okay, hatta iza sawa bayna sadafain. So they put these 2 pieces of iron and they build this on top of each other until it is level with the mountain. So imagine 2 mountains. There's an opening here. There's a pass between the mountain. So they put these huge iron sheets all the way to the top until it was level to the top. Okay, hatta iza sawa bayna sadafain qala anfukhu. You all make fire. So they heat the iron. They melt the iron. Right, they heat it up. Right, so that it's like all the way to the top, it's filled, right? So the other narrations mention that they put soil in between, right? So there were 2 pieces of iron, but soil in between. So in case of any earthquakes or anything like that, there is enough cushion in the middle to absorb. There's a lot of technology being used here, so that the barrier does not break. A dam, one small earthquake, it will crack. It's over. But this one had this cushion, this thing of absorbing things. So he put that on top, so you cannot penetrate through the iron sheets. It's impossible. And 2 iron sheets, you cannot really penetrate through that. قال انفخوا حتى إذا جعله نارا قال آتوني أفرغ عليه قطرا. Then, once the entire thing is solidified, he took copper. Okay, so understand what materials are being used here. This is engineering here. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us. You should use your technology, engineering mind to help people, not the other way around. So what does he do? He takes copper, and he melts copper and he pours copper on top of it. Okay, molten copper, he puts on top of it. Why? Because if you're going to scale something, if you want to scale a mountain or whatnot or a wall, you need some rough areas to put your foot on, to grab onto something for the thing to get in, right? For the nail to get in. But when you put copper and it's smooth, you cannot scale it. You cannot scale this. It's a high wall and it's smooth, and you cannot penetrate through the copper also. It's not easy. So that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَمَسْتَطَاعُوا أَن يَظْهَرُوهُ. So we're not able to scale it. وَمَسْتَطَاعُوا لَهُ نَقَبًا. And they were not able to make a tunnel through it. Because iron, and then this copper on top of it, and it's solidified. And then after he builds that wall, he says, هَذَا رَحْمَةٌ مِّن رَبِّي. This is from the mercy of my Rabb. Look what he says. He does not say, this is because of me, my power. No, this is a special mercy of Allah. When you learn science, when you learn technology or when you come across a technology that is mind-blowing, what should you say? هَذَا رَحْمَةٌ مِّن رَبِّي. This is from the mercy of my Rabb. Because rahmah is linked to knowledge. Remember that. Always I mention this, right? Rahmah is linked to knowledge. Every time Allah gives you knowledge, that means Allah is giving you rahmah. Every time Allah wants to give you rahmah, He gives you knowledge. خَيْرُكُم مَّن تَعَلَّمَ الْقُرْآنَ وَعَلَّمَ. The Prophet says, the best of you are those who learn and teach. مَن يُرِيدِ اللَّهُ بِهِ خَيْرًا يُفَقِّهُ فِي الدِّينِ. If Allah wants to give some goodness to somebody, He gives them the understanding of deen. If Allah wants to give goodness to somebody, He gives them the understanding of deen. And so, this is from the rahmah of Allah, mercy of Allah, that He has given me this. Knowledge is a rahmah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you attribute all knowledge, all technological advancements to Allah. Because some human being came up with this idea, right? AI, right? EV cars, all this, new things that are coming up. All of this is some human mind. And who made the human mind? Allah Himself. So all of that goes back to Allah. قَالَ هَذَا رَحْمَةٌ مِّن رَبِّي فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ رَبِّي جَعَلَهُ دَكًّا. So he says, when the promise of Allah comes, He's going to make this into dust. جَعَلَهُ دَكًّا. He's going to turn this into dust. What he's saying is that whenever Allah wills, maybe on the Yawm al-Qiyamah, this wall will break. This wall will break and Ya'juj Ma'juj will come before the day of judgment. That's one. The other opinion is whenever Allah wills, before the day of judgment, anytime, it could be, or it already happened, we don't know. Whenever Allah wills, this wall will be down. فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ رَبِّي جَعَلُ وَكَانَ وَعْدُ رَبِّي حَقًّا. And the promise of my Rabb is true. وَتَرَكْنَا بَعْضَهُمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ يَمُوجُ فِي بَعْضٍ وَنُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ فَجَمَعْنَاهُمْ جَمَعًا. So that is the end of that story of Dhul Qarnayn as to what he did. I want to now talk about the narrations. Okay, from the hadith perspective. Okay, there's a long narration as to what will happen towards the end of times. So it's important to know that hadith. It links to Dajjal, Ya'juj, Ma'juj, the coming of Isa alayhi salam. So I've given you 2 hadith already, but inshallah this hadith is a long one. So even if you have this one hadith, inshallah, in your notes, that's sufficient, inshallah. Question?
What's the second hadith?
خَيْرُكُم مَّن تَعَلَّمَ الْقُرْآنَ وَعَلَّمَ. The best of you are those who learn and teach. The best of you are those who learn and teach. Okay? And if Allah intends to give some goodness to anybody, He gives them the understanding of deen. So this is a narration, hadith reports on Ya'juj and Ma'juj, and this hadith narrated by Nawas bin Saman radiyallahu anhu, who says that one morning the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I'll mention the narrator again, Nawas bin Saman. And he says the Prophet ﷺ, one morning, he talked about Dajjal. Okay? And while doing that, he said a few things which showed the low and negative aspect of his profile, such as him being one-eyed. Then, he also said a few things about him to the effect that his emergence was a matter of trial. Right? So he's talking about Dajjal and how he's going to have one eye and how him coming out is going to be a trial. His narration gripped up with such fear as if Dajjal was lurking somewhere in the nearby grooves of the date palms. Okay, Sahaba started thinking the description was so clear and it was very descriptive to the point that we thought Dajjal is somewhere near here, hiding in the date palms. And when we presented ourselves before him in the evening, he read our confused inner condition and he asked, "What is the matter with you?" Okay, what happened? We submitted. "You talked about Dajjal in the morning, Ya Rasulullah. Of things you said about him, some seem to belittle the matter of his emergence, while you also said that other things which seem to highlight his matter to proportions of a great trial, to the extent that we thought that he was present close to us in the grooves of the date palms." So he's saying that you said some people don't take this seriously, Ya Rasulullah, but some, you told us about the importance, about the urgency of this matter, and we thought, Dajjal is hiding somewhere, so we are scared about his coming. Then he said, "Not just the Dajjal, there are other trials I fear may afflict you more." Right? It is not only the trial of Dajjal, but there are other ones that are coming. "If he appears and I am among you, I shall confront him personally without you." Okay, I will fight Dajjal personally, I will defeat him if I am amongst you. "And if he appears and I am not among you, everyone will try to confront him in terms of his courage. You all will be tested and you all will be facing Dajjal on your own. and Allah is in my absence the guardian and protector of all Muslims. So if I'm not here, Allah will protect you. You'll recognize him as a young man. You'll see him as a young man, Dajjal, hard curly hair, one eye protruding upwards, blind in the other, as in other narratives. And if I can liken him in the ugly profile with someone, it is Abdul Uzza ibn Qat'an, an ugly person from the tribe of Banu Khuza'a during the Jahiliyyah. Okay, so he was using his name to explain how Dajjal is going to be looking like. If a Muslim from among you runs into him, he should recite the initial verses of Surah Al-Kahf against him, which will keep him protected from Dajjal. You see, that's why we're studying Surah Al-Kahf right now. He's saying, if anybody confronts him, you should read the beginning ayat of Surah Al-Kahf. Alhamdulillah, anzalna ala abdil kitab, all the way till the beginning of the story of Ashab al-Kahf, right? Because those were young men who faced a tyrant king and they survived. So if a Muslim from among you runs into him, he should recite the initial verses of Surah Al-Kahf against him, which will keep him protected from Dajjal. Dajjal will emerge from the empty space between Syria and Iraq, creating havoc right and left. So between Syria and Iraq, that's the area he's going to emerge from. O servants of Allah, you then stay firm against him. Be firm against him, do not falter, he is weak. We said, Ya Rasulullah, how long will he tarry on the earth? How long will be on the earth? Do not lean on the wall, please. He said, 40 days. The job will be here for 40 days on the earth. But the first day will be equal to 1 year. First day of his 40 days will be long, 1 year. And the second day will be like 1 month. And the rest of the days will be as usual. So you can imagine 1 day, 1 year, and a few, you can say 2 months close to. Okay? 1 year and 2 months.
Will it be like a year or will it just be a year?
It will be like 1 year. That's what the Prophet ﷺ is saying. Only time will tell us exactly what that means. Whether time is going to go slow or sun will not move. Because he will have the control over many things. He can control the sun, he can control the clouds, he can control vegetation, he can control everything.
What ayah is this?
This is the same ayat. The same ayat. We stopped at ayah number 99. 99. Okay, yeah. So I'm just going with the hadith narrations on the end of times. So then the Prophet ﷺ continues. So he will stay for 40 days. First day will be like 1 year. Second day will be like 1 month. And the rest of the days will be as usual like we have. And what is a concern? What is the question the Sahabas are asking? This is beautiful. We said, Ya Rasulullah, so on that day, which will be equal to 1 year, shall we be offering the 5 times salah for 1 day only? Right? Their concern is salah. Because that's the command in the Quran. Like their focus is salah. So if it's 1 full year, are we just praying 5 times? That's it? For the whole year, just 5 times, that's it? He said, no. You will rather go by estimating time and offering prayers for the whole year. Like when you're on the flight, you just estimate the time. So you're going to do estimation, okay. So Fajr, and then like after a few hours, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha. Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha. And you'll do that continuously, and the sun will be up probably for a long time, right? So you're just going to estimate it. So it'll be like 1 day will be like 1 year, long day. Okay? And then his Allah continued. He said, Ya Rasulullah, how fast will he be moving about the earth? He said, fast like the cloud being followed by the wind. He will go faster, like the speed of a wind. And today we can imagine that by the speed of, speed of the wind, like of flights, or even faster than that, right? Then he will pass. Then he will pass by a people, and he will ask them to rally round his false beliefs. He will tell them. He will go around different places of the earth, and he will tell people to disbelieve in Allah. How we have Dhul Qarnayn today, a powerful king telling people to believe in Allah. He will call people to disbelieve in Allah. They will believe in him and respond to his call. They will accept Dajjal to be the God, and they will believe him. Then he will commission the clouds. They will start raining. As soon as you believe in Dajjal, he will tell the clouds, okay, rain on these people. Okay, give them vegetation, give them fruits, everything. Let them have a good time because they believed in me. He will order the earth. It will turn green and verdant, and herds of the cattle will graze therein. And when they return in the evening, their humps shall be much higher than before, and their udders shall be full of milk, and their waist shall be plumb. Right? Meaning the camel is, or the camels or cows or cattle is going to give full milk, green grass, everything is going to be amazing because they believed in Dajjal. Then Dajjal will pass by another people and invite them to his disbelief. But they will turn down his invitation. They will say, no, we don't believe in you. You're Dajjal. You're a false god. Right? We don't believe. We believe in Allah only. Losing hope, when he goes away from them, these believers will be stricken with famine, and nothing of what once belonged to them will remain in their hands. So, believers, the people who stay firm in Iman, who will refuse Dajjal, Dajjal will make them suffer, and he will bring famine on them. They will suffer with hunger. They will not have food to eat. They will not have money. You know, today, your money is where in the bank, right? In 1 second, all those numbers can go to zero. You have nothing in hand. Right? In 1 second, everything can go to zero. Today we have things like Bitcoin and stuff like that, which is not actual currency. Right? Things like that, if you have this one control, easily it can be, changed. And when the Dajjal will walk by this wasteland, he will address it saying, bring your treasures out. So its treasures will start following him like the honeybees follow their queen. So meaning that he will order, and the gold and the silver and all these things under the earth will just come out and will follow Dajjal. He'll be a very rich person. Yes.
Can you harm us?
He will try to harm us, but if he has strong Iman, we will see the story of a man very soon. If he has strong Iman, he can't do anything about it. He can't do anything about it. Yes. Then Dajjal will call a man. So this is a man I'm talking about. Okay. So the Dajjal will call a man whose youth shall be in full bloom, like a very young person. Right? Meaning he has a lot of desires, he has all these things as a young person, right? So he will bring a lot of attraction, right? And so he shall be in full bloom, and strike him with a sword and cut him into 2 pieces, right? The Dajjal will cut him into 2 pieces, and the 2 pieces will be placed as far apart as the distance between an archer and his target. Meaning they are going to be separated. Like somebody shooting an arrow, the distance he has from the target, that's how he's going to be separated. Then he will call him, and he will come alive to Dajjal, beaming with joy over his feet. So he'll come together, and Dajjal will give him life. In the meantime, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send down Al-Masih ibn Maryam, Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam. He will alight at the White Tower in the eastern part of Damascus. So who will descend at the same time? Isa alayhi salam. He will descend in a masjid in Damascus. Okay, and he's going to be covered in 2 pieces of cloth. Okay, and both of his hands are going to be resting on the wings of the angels. He will descend. And when he bows his head, his blessed head, drops of water will drip down from there as if one has just come out of the shower. And when he raises his head up, from it will drop the silvery globules like genuine pearls. So this water droplets will be coming down like pearls falling down from his head. Any disbeliever who breathes the air from his breath will die that very instant, and his breath will reach as far as it reaches his glands. Meaning that so the Antichrist, so Christ is, obviously he says Antichrist is Dajjal. So Dajjal and Isa are going to be the ones facing off each other, right? And then he will look from him until he will overtake him at the gate of Lud. Okay, Bayt al-Maqdis. So eventually Isa is going to kill Dajjal at a place in Masjid al-Aqsa, near Masjid al-Aqsa. It's called the gate of Lud, which is present till today. And he will kill, Isa will kill Dajjal at that point. After that, Isa ibn Maryam will come to the people whom Allah protected from Dajjal, and he will then touch their faces with compassion for them and give them the good news of having high ranks in paradise. So other narrations mention that the man who was split in half, he will be put together, and Dajjal will say, do you believe in me? Do you believe in me to be the God? And this man will say, no. I know you are Dajjal. The Prophet ﷺ talked about you, and you are Dajjal. And so he will cut him in half again, split him, and then put him back. Do you believe now? No. Now I'm certain that you're Dajjal because you could do these type of things, right? And so then he's going to be defeated. That man will be strong, and he could not harm the man, okay? Because he will stay firm in his iman, and he will have 2 rivers with him, right? One river of fire and one river of, like beautiful garden. And anybody who disbelieves in him, he will throw them in the river of fire. But it will actually be a river of garden, like a beautiful river with water and garden and whatnot, a paradise. And the river that looked like garden and like water will be actually like fire. So he's Dajjal. Dajjal means he's a trickster. He deceives with the eyes. He can fool you with his eyes. So you should never be fooled by what he shows you. And be ready that towards the end of time, things are going to become very difficult for the believers. But you have to stay firm. The nation is not over there. We'll continue inshallah. While he would still be in the same state, Allah will reveal to Isa alayhi salam, verily, I'm going to send forth the kind of men from among the servants belonging to me, against whom no two hands will dare fight. So Allah will tell Isa alayhi salam, "Oh Isa, I'm going to give you some men who are strong believers. Nobody can defeat them." And so these strong believers, we hope that inshallah we are of those people. So you assemble and take my servants to the sanctuary of Mount Tur. So Isa alayhi salam will take these strong believers with him, and he will go to Mount Tur. And which would send out Yajuj and Majuj, and they will be seen hurling down from every side. Okay, then they will see. So this, after the defeat of Dajjal, Yajuj and Majuj are going to be released, and they will come down a mountain like a river flowing or something. That's how many people are going to be there. Huge nation. Yajuj Majuj, will study the amount of people that are there, way more than all of humanity combined. Right? Way more than 1:99 is the ratio. 1:99. For every one human being, 99 are Yajuj and Majuj. Right? So they would drink out everything in it, and sorry, I missed that. And they will be seen hurting down from his side. The first wave of them will pass by Buhaira Tabariya. They would drink out everything in it. When they would pass by a river, they would drink every water in it, because there's so many in number. And when others of them will pass by it, and seeing it dry, they will say, surely in this there must have been water earlier in time. The Prophet of Allah, Isa alayhi salam, and his companions will take refuge in the mountain of Tur. They will protect themselves in the mountain of Tur. Other believers will find sanctuaries in their own fortified places. Like, you won't be able to come out. You're going to be in caves, hiding, protecting your iman. Food supplies will be there, but it would run short, whereupon the head of a bull will be considered better than 100 dinar. Meaning that food will be so short that you would rather have some meat and even be ready to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars, because dollars don't give you anything. So money will be there, but money is of no use, because you want food at that time, and food will be short. Then the Prophet of Allah, Isa alayhi salam, and his companions will turn to Allah, and they will make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He will send an epidemic, a worm in neck, and they will be annihilated in huge numbers. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will destroy Yajuj and Majuj. How? By giving them this disease. A worm will be sent in their necks, and that will kill them. Then the Prophet of Allah, Isa alayhi salam, and his companions will come down from the mountain of Tur and see not a handspan worth of land remaining unfilled with the corpses. So all the Yajuj and Majuj who came down, who are going to be causing fasad in the land, they are going to be killed. Right? There's not a single place. There won't be a single place on the earth without their dead bodies. The dead bodies will be all over the place. So when the Muslims come down with Isa alayhi salam, they will see this, and then again they will make dua to Allah. Oh Allah, ease the situation because of the strong smell of their dead bodies. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send birds with necks like the neck of a camel. Right? Huge birds with huge necks, and they will come and pick up these bodies, and they will throw them in the sea or some far place. After that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send rain. No clay home in the village and no Bedouin tent in the desert will remain without it. Meaning rain will come and it will wash away the land. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell the earth, grow your fruits and unravel the abundance of your blessings. So then the earth will be reset, and now a lot of vegetation will be grown for the believers. And so it shall be, and such shall be the bliss of increase that one pomegranate will suffice as food for a group of people, and its shell will be used to make canopies. So the huge pomegranates and their shell can be used to protect yourself as roofs against the sun. And the milk will also be so blessed as to suffice for a large number of people. Milk from one cow will be enough for everyone in a tribe, and milk from one goat will be adequate for a whole clan. Meaning a lot of people can drink from it. So Allah will give us lots of abundance of wealth. After 40 years of this period of extraordinary abundance and peace and protection, when the time due for Qiyamah will draw near, so 40 years. So the scholars mentioned that Isa will stay probably for 40 years in this earth. After that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send a pleasant wind, which will cause their armpits to be benumbed, and the soul of every believer and every Muslim will be taken away. Meaning, the ruh is going to be removed. Left there will be the worst among human beings. So who will be left? Worst human beings, the disbelievers will be there, the wicked and the disbelieving ones who will indulge in shame and outrage on the earth like donkeys, and it is against them that the hour will stand activated. So on them the Yawm al-Qiyamah will happen. The believers will pass away, a wind will come and take away their soul, and the disbelievers, when they're there, that's when the Yawm al-Qiyamah will come on them. Yes?
Isn't it true that there was a hadith by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which he said that the Dajjal will only come when there's like a lake in Palestine when it dries up?
Yes.
It's true?
Yes. There are alamat. You're supposed to mention that. Yes, that's true. Yes.
What will happen to disbelievers and Yajuj and Majuj will come?
What happened to the disbelievers?
Yeah.
So I didn't mention this part. It's coming up, but because of time, I'm going to get to that. So Yajuj and Majuj, or this is important to write it down. They are from the descendants of Nuh alayhi salam's son Yafis. Ham, Sam, Yafis. There were 3 sons of Nuh alayhi salam that survived, and from their progeny continued. I know I'm over time. Ham, Sam, and Yafis. Okay, so from Yafis, the generation continues. And then they're going to be huge in number, to the point that for every 99 human beings, for every 100 people, 99 will be Yajuj and Majuj, 1 will be humanity, regular people. Okay, they'll be huge in number. Okay, and some believe that Yajuj Majuj are already out. Some believe that Yajuj Majuj are already out, and some believe they're yet to come. There's a difference here amongst the scholars. Okay, those people who believe the Yajuj Majuj are out, and they are referring to people, the Western Europeans, right, who were from the descendants of Yafis. Now they've moved to the west. Okay, to the west. Their population is still there, and they causing corruption in the land, doing a lot of bloodshed in different parts of the world. They're causing that already. Mufsidun fil is already happening by those people, specifically people from the west. Okay, the leaders of the people of the west. Okay, so they believe that they are the descendants of Yajuj and Majuj, and Yajuj Majuj will be the ones to bring Bani Israel back to Palestine. That's also from the reference. So some scholars believe that they're already out. Others believe that no, they're yet to come. So there's a difference here. Okay, because they don't take the narrations, some narrations to be authentic. Allah knows best. Are they what? They are normal human beings. Yeah, they are normal human beings. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah. So things. Of the things they will do is they will kill human beings, they will eat all the crops, drink all the water, and they are going to be very arrogant, and they're going to be also aiming at the sky. So they will kill everybody on earth. They will kill everybody on earth. All human beings will be dead, except for the people who protected themselves against Yajuj and Majuj. The believers are going to be hiding everybody. They will kill everybody. Okay, that's what they will do. But then, after they kill everybody, they will say, you know what, we have killed everybody on the earth, now it's time to kill everybody in the heavens. So they will point the arrows to the heavens, and they will shoot the arrows. And the arrows will come down with blood on it. Right, to say that, oh, we have killed everyone in the skies. That's how arrogant they're going to be. Cause corruption, that's what we know. They will cause corruption in the land. Okay, this is from the trials the believers will face. And the Prophet mentions that on those days when you're going to be hiding in the cave, protecting yourself against Yajuj and Majuj, your food is going to be tasbih and tahleel and takbir. Subhanallah, alhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar. That is what will be your food that will keep you going without being killed. Question? Okay. So, and I'm over time. This is the last part, inshallah. I'll finish with that. According to the narration of, okay, this is a part on Medina. About the story of Dajjal, the narrations of Sayyidina Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiallahu anh adds that Dajjal will stay away from Medina al-Munawwara. So the Dajjal will not be able to enter Medina al-Munawwara. When it will not be possible for him to reach even the link roads leading to it, he will come to a salty tract of land close to Medina. At that time, a man will come out to confront him. and this man will be the best of men at that time, or among the best of men. Addressing him, he will say, I'm certain that you are Dajjal. So I spoke about this, right? Addressing him, so this man will come out of Dajjal, and some say this is going to be a scholar, right? Imam Mahdi himself. I'm certain that you are Dajjal about whom the Prophet ﷺ has told us. Hearing this, Dajjal will start saying, tell me, O people, if I kill this man, then make him alive, will you still doubt the thing that I'm God? They will say no. So he will kill him and then bring him back to life, whereupon he will tell Dajjal, by Allah, now I have become more certain that you are Dajjal. Hence Dajjal will want to kill him all over again, but he will remain unable to enforce it. Okay, Dajjal will not be able to kill this man after that. According to the narration of Sayyidina Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu anh, appearing this in Sahih Bukhari and Muslim, the Prophet ﷺ said, on the day of Qiyamah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask Adam alayhi salam, raise the hellbound from your progeny. He will wonder, my Lord, who are they? Then the divine command will go forth, and that 999 of every 1,000 are hellbound, with only one bound to go to paradise. So Allah will tell Adam alayhi salam, from your progeny, take all those people going to Jahannam. Adam will say, who are they, Ya Allah? And Allah will say, from every 1,000, 999. So same thing, 100 from every 100, 99, or from 1,000, 999 are going to Jahannam. Only one goes to Jannah. Okay? So very few people go to Jannah. Remember that. Very few people go to Jannah. So don't follow the majority. Then the divine command will come forth. Okay, then scared, the noble Sahabas asked the Prophet ﷺ, Ya Rasulullah, who from among us shall be the one bound to go to paradise? Thereupon he said, do not worry, because out of these 999 hellbound people, there will be only one from among you, while the ratio-wise, there will be 1,000 from among the Yajuj and Majuj. Okay, according to the narration of Abdullah bin Umar, in Mustadrak of Al-Hakim, the Prophet said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala divided all human beings into 10 parts. Take all humanity, and Allah divided them into 10 parts. 9 of these belongs to Yajuj and Majuj, while the remaining 1 part belongs to the human being of the whole world. So that's how you understand that hadith. So we will leave there inshallah. Actually, one final hadith, and we'll finish with this. One final hadith. The Prophet ﷺ, one day he was sleeping, and he woke up. And he woke up and he says, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah, woe to the Arabs. May the Arabs be destroyed. Right? He's making a curse on the Arabs. Why? He begins like that and he says, evil is drawing near. Today, a part of the wall of Yajuj and Majuj has opened up like this. And he made a ring by joining the tips of his thumb and index finger. So he put these fingers together like this, and he said, this much wall has been opened up today of Yajuj and Majuj today. And he's blaming the Arabs for that. Okay, so we don't know what the interpretation of that is. It could be, some scholars say it's a literal opening, or it could be a metaphorical opening as to the treaties they make, the contracts they make with Yajuj and Majuj, and Arabs with Yajuj and Majuj causing corruption in the land. Wallahu alam, Allah knows best. We'll leave it there inshallah. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives power to this ummah, that He makes us amazing engineers, entrepreneurs, and we use our power like Dhul Qarnayn in the way of Allah inshallah. Ameen. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.